Episode 235 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded May 6th, 2019. Game of Thrones, episode 4 of the final season. I don't even know what I call this.
I was thinking like direwolf tease, you know, because it's like we get that little direwolf tease in there.
Yeah, a little bit of Ghost.
Or like the
Ghosts of Winterfell's past.
The ear of the wolf, because he's only got one ear now.
So I don't want to even get into the gripe. We're gonna have some gripes in this episode. I'm gonna start off with the gripes, but I got gripes about Ghost. Remind me to get back to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely gonna complain about some stuff in this episode. But first off, hey, we're the TV Dudes. I'm Grant.
I'm Randy.
And I'm Kyle.
And we also have baby Isla here in the studio. That's my daughter, who is going to be quiet, hopefully, while
She's
we're
got
recording.
a lot of thoughts about Game of Thrones.
She's
watched every episode.
It's not a legit podcast unless someone has like a noisy kid in the background, I think. That's just how podcasts are.
Yeah, it's This American Life always had it.
Yeah, always. That's what I recall.
Yeah.
So folks, we are talking about episode 4, the fourth of 6. There's only 2 more episodes left after this. What was it? The penultimate?
Penultimate.
What's the term here? But
it's Penultimate Eve is what it's called.
This is an episode that really mirrors episode 2 of this season, it seems, in that it's
set up for the big battle.
It's a big setup. There's a lot of patting each other on the back and a lot of character discussions and crossing of a lot of farewells, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems to be a lot of what's going on. People just kind of like being like, oh, well, I'm done for the season. Goodbye.
This is a season wrap on Tormund and Ghost. Do you guys think that's real, or do you think it's a fake out? Do you think we'll see them again in episode 6?
It really depends on how things shake out with episode 5.
Right.
Well, and there's 2 things they can do. They can bring him in Knights of the Vale style, and they can save the day at the end.
Right.
Or everybody can think that's what's going to happen, and then it doesn't. And it's even more devastating.
Well, what I'm imagining I'm watching episode 6 is going to be a lot of the end credits of Animal House. And then this person ruled for 100 years, and then this is what happened to Jon Snow, and then this is what happened to Tormund. Here's Tormund and his wife and his daughter.
You think they're going to play Sia's Breathe Me and just zoom into the future with everyone?
Exactly, yeah. I do think we'll get a lot of sort of epilogue-y type stuff. And I don't want to go too deep on it because I think they'll probably wind up wanting to do a sequel with some of these characters.
Yeah, that's why I'm skeptical that they would do such a thing like that, because they have... Apparently, the news just came out that 3 of these projects that are in production or in development, not production, all seem to be going full steam ahead.
But aren't they prequels for the most part? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think they're going to go past. I think they're going to go look.
But they might want to leave that door open.
They might. But I imagine if you're going to do an ending, and again after this season, I don't know that I trust HBO to stick, or even Benioff and Weiss to stick the landing. But if you're doing a big finale for an 8-season show, you got to give me a little closure on all my characters.
That's true.
And I feel like, what else do you do in episode 6 if episode 5 is the big final battle of who wins the throne?
Well, are you guys ready to do some? Man, I would normally say hot takes, but I feel like we need to call them Song of Fire Takes.
Yes, Song of Fire Takes.
Song of Fire Takes.
As always, I believe I'm going to be the one in the room who liked the episode the most, although maybe not. Kyle, I think Kyle might like it more than me.
Yeah, no, I think that's my favorite of the season.
Okay, then I want you to do yours first.
Okay.
And then we'll get increasingly pessimistic.
No. I found myself judging how good I found this episode by every moment kind of took me into this, wait a second, anything could happen right here. There's a lot of goodbyes, but then there's also a lot of setup for the next episode. And everybody just seems to makes a bad decision, but it could be in your head, you're like, oh, please don't make the worst decision. Or your fingers crossed, everybody's just going to keep a cool head and work together. Nobody's going to freak out. But it's Game of Thrones. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that is sort of my take on this too. I actually thought I was watching a lot of the characters do really stupid things, and I was waiting for just one person to make the people, all the people who are making good decisions, all the people making good advice are being ignored. Everyone who's making the worst possible decisions is getting free reign, and it's a little frustrating to watch. But as I look back at it later, I'm like, okay, did I know it was all coming, or does it just seem obvious because it was well laid out? And I'm still struggling with that. It's like there's some stuff with like you're on Greyjoy shooting down the dragon, where you're like, how did they not know that they had they knew they had these dragon killing weapons? How were they not prepared for it? How was that such a surprise? And I'm like, on the other hand, why on earth would they think they would have put them out on ships in the middle of the ocean? There's no reason for them to expect that.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking.
Yeah.
I'm so angry with this episode, guys.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I mean, just from the beginning, the huge plot hole of if you stab the Ice King and all the resurrected dead are now dissolving, then who are these corpses that they're burning? We should not see a Lyanna Mormont. She resurrected and then should have dissolved. Like, some of these things don't make sense.
Well, no, that's
by their own rules that they.
That's an easy explanation. They'd been risen for about maybe a minute. Like,
it takes 15 minutes before they'll dissolve.
Yeah, you
like,
didn't know about the 15-minute rule?
Yeah, you know how when you do a microwave meal and you cook like 3 minutes, you take it out, then you put it back in for 3 minutes. You take it at that 3-minute point. There's still a lot of ice on it, and it's not really done. They weren't fully baked. They weren't fully baked night people.
Well, there's some silly stuff with that. There's some backtracking on like how many Dothraki died. Oh, only half of them. Like, bullshit. You guys showed us all of us.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
And now
Grant,
suddenly
they showed us nothing. We couldn't see anything. All we saw was lights going out.
I guess
they were all laying down.
They're all just like blew out their candles.
Yeah. Like, wait, if I blow this out, I won't die. But you know what? They did. A bunch of them did come running back with Ghost, right?
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Ghost is back.
Yeah.
And then,
they came back because Sir Jorah came back.
So many of the characters are being fucking idiots. I mean, Jon Snow is a fucking idiot and a dickhead to Ghost, his dog.
But that's true to his character.
It's true to his character, but it's not true to the character of Varys and Tyrion to be like, oh, Jon Snow's smart. I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah,
like
it is.
And turning their back on Daenerys. Like, there's so many problems I have. Also, there's like this huge misogynistic line going through this whole episode that seems super problematic for like just the messaging they're giving at the very end of this. A lot of this stuff seems so wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. Like how is everyone's military strategy so god awful in everything that they do? What are they doing with this show? I mean, I had a lot of bitches about season 7 with how things deviated when they no longer had the blueprint of George R. R. Martin, and this just reinforces how much like he thought of this world and how much they think of the theatrics of immediate fan appeal versus logistics.
You need to prepare yourself for two realities. One is that George R. R. Martin is never going to finish these books. The other reality is that if he does, they're going to be terrible in different ways. There's going to be 100 characters you don't give a shit about in the final battle.
This is true.
So
and
let's not put Martin on a pedestal here.
Let's put him on some of a pedestal.
Benioff and Weiss can finish a goddamn project.
Well, I still am of the belief, my fan theory, my headcanon, is that he isn't finishing this because of the TV show thing. He can't. He's under legal obligation that he can't finish it, and he's just taking a lot of shit. The poor guy who created this world. It's really awesome.
Oh my God, you guys are so naive. No, he couldn't finish it. He built this huge thing up, and as it went on, he added more and more characters because he couldn't figure out what the satisfying story was. And then HBO rescued him by having somebody come in and finish his story. There is no way this is George R. R. Martin's like, I'm such a great writer. Have you looked? Did you see Night Flyers? Have you read some of his?
No,
Martin is not a genius.
I like how these books started, and then I admit they become just.
That's all I'm saying. George R. R. Martin is a good writer who created something amazing, but he's not a genius who's being underserved by these guys.
I mean, I think they don't have a template, and they kind of aren't that great anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that any of the three of them are a genius, but what I think is that Weiss and Benioff, their contribution was adapting that book to this show and seeing it on the screen.
Yeah.
His contribution obviously was the books. There's a big, kink in the machine now where we don't have him contributing his ideas and then these guys distilling them. So now they're coming up with the ideas based off of, whatever he's told them. And we shouldn't be surprised that it's different.
I don't know. For me, and I do have some disappointment in the way they're going. I think that there's reasonable things to be said about it. But I also think there's a lot of backseat driving where we're all playing into what we wanted was this amazing thing. And the thing is, there's so many component parts that have to be moved around and so many things they have to do that I think we're asking perfection from guys who I don't think was ever going to be possible.
It's kind of funny. If you think of they're talking about taking the MCU and turning it into TV shows where it's like people can't sit through a 3-hour movie. Let's break it down here. I feel like all these episodes have all these really great moments. Like, should the last season just have been YouTube clips? Like the 3-minute, the little bear kills the White Walker clip, and then you could go to I just caught the moment.
I just need her breakdancing.
Choose your own adventure, Game of Thrones.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to go ahead and talk about this in order?
Let's dive into it. And by the way, Grant, I don't disagree with you, especially on the misogyny stuff. There's some really uncomfortable stuff in this episode.
You don't think that's true to the reality of the world they live in?
I think that they had definitely set us up for a swerve where all the most powerful characters were female characters, and instead they're starting to undercut them here at the last minute.
Well, I don't know. I felt like some of the misogynistic stuff was more just like, hey, we still live in this world,
We'll get to it. There's one particular thing with Sansa that I was like, oh shit, did you really say that?
With Sansa, with how they treat Daenerys, with Missandei at the end, it's just like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, let's start at the beginning. There's a funeral pyre, eh?
Yeah, and they meant to focus on Ser Jorah and then also Theon, which I love that moment where they took the little Sansa put that little Stark pin in Theon's armor.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I liked that the Mormont girl got her finale. I was wondering who was going to be the person looking at her because everybody's having this person looks at the corpse of the person they love.
Oh, she should have been dust though.
No, Grant, it takes
Tell it to the cleaning lady on Monday.
It takes 15 minutes
because she's dust.
She's not. They weren't fully baked. It takes 15 minutes. Did you not know? That's going to be in his 20.
Yeah, these are high altitude instructions.
They didn't use
totally
high altitude
different.
19
shenanigans. Okay,
but yeah, they gave everybody a moment. Which here's the thing: would you have rather they just given because Theon and Jorah died after the Night King did his big raise,
right?
Would you really have rather they just not given those people a moment, or does cool beat out realistic in this moment?
I think that she shouldn't have been there. I don't need to see a dead kid.
Fair.
I also feel like when they show dead kids, it's emotionally manipulative anyway.
Oh, that's fair.
And I think they're just getting mileage out of that when logically, based on their own rules, it didn't really make sense.
I feel like they wanted to give it was Ed and Lyanna Mormont, right? Those are the two. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones. Liara Mormont. I think that they wanted to give those two a send off because I know I was waiting for it, and I wasn't in the headspace of thinking they were Nightwalkers and they would have dusted.
But this is Game of Thrones. The send off is the death.
I know. I was just when they were doing all the send offs though, and they were doing Jorah and they were doing Theon. I was like, oh well, I wonder who's going to be the person. And if they hadn't showed her. I would have been spending the whole episode thinking, why? That's weird. Why didn't they show her? And it wouldn't have occurred to me, oh, right, she was dust. So I think that might have been why they cheated it for dumb people like me.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll cross my arms and just allow it. That is a little bit annoying.
Also, if you don't cook them in high altitudes like the north, they do not become full night people. The temperature has to be a certain temperature.
we all read the handbook.
We all
right?
read the handbook about how to raise the whites.
Oh. But yeah, no, we go straight from that funeral pyre into The Great Feast, which is kind of a callback to season 1.
I loved The Great Feast.
Yeah, there was a lot of good moments in that.
That was my favorite part of the episode, actually.
The way that they start it, where it's silent, and all you hear is the clanging of eating, and it's just kind of like awkward.
Everything shawarma scene.
Yeah, and then underlining that with who was it? Was it Gendry trying to chat with a hound? Like he's the one who's like first talking, and he's like, "Really want to talk about getting laid with Aunt Arya when we're smelling the corpses of everyone burning?" I was like, "Oh shit!" Also, there's another whole layer. There's like an aroma of a stench of death.
Yeah. Also, I love that the Hound is basically just messing with him at that point because the Hound is like, "Yeah, go get it." What do you?
There were some fun parts to this, but it was also really soap opera-y with like how everyone's like raising eyebrows back and forth with each other about power plays going on at that front table.
It made me think of 24, where everyone's always looking at each other through blinds.
Yeah, like, oh wait, did Daenerys just elevate Gendry just as a power play there? And Sansa being like,
I really liked that moment though. I really liked that moment.
Did you guys think for a moment she was going to kill him?
I did.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that's a guy who's a threat, and she can't go at John, so she's going to send a message to John.
Because that's all I'm thinking in my head is like, you want to be the big shot, I'll teach you a lesson. Hey, what's your name?
Prison rules.
Yeah.
No, I didn't for a second think she was going to kill him. I did hope she would kill Jon Snow, though.
I still think she might.
Oh, she should have. She should have just been
so
you dead.
Here's my thought in watching this whole episode. If Jon Snow and Jaime Lannister had both died in the Battle of Winterfell, would everybody be way better off? Everybody?
Brienne would
have had her heart broken in a different way.
Yeah.
And probably a better way where she
should have been with Tormund.
She wouldn't have seen who, and she would have been with Tormund.
Man, a guy who would treat her right.
That's right. He likes the big ladies.
I love, though, the line about with Tyrion being like, oh, yeah, we both climb a mountain now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I thought that how they transitioned with Daenerys kind of giving props to Gendry and promoting him to Lord of Storm's End was a nice way to break the tension of the scene and allow everyone that kind of opportunity to celebrate, to transition to everyone just getting sloppy drunk.
Yeah.
However, when you guys see everyone getting sloppy drunk at this castle with their defenses down and they're just wrecked,
You start thinking Red Wedding?
I just thought, oh, man. I thought Cersei's army was going to invade them and just start in wreck shop.
See, I wasn't thinking in those directions. I was more thinking, I was still watching for the tension. I was thinking people were going to get drunk and say things that started fights. And instead, it's sort of, but not really.
Well, Tormund definitely stirred some shit.
Tormund definitely seems like a sloppy, like you do not want Tormund drunk, because Tormund when he's sober says whatever he feels like.
Also, I'm pretty sure Tormund is the Lebowski of this universe. I mean, I think that's White Russian in that elk horn or whatever he has.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. There's a beverage here, man.
So the Hound is a miserable asshole.
Yeah.
As always.
Yeah.
Him kind of talking with Gendry was a nice moment, because you get this sort of sense that he's got this fatherly figure role, the protective aspect toward Arya.
Yeah.
Especially when he's just kind of like, lay off of her, back up, and whatever. And man, it was very satisfying when that evolves to Gendry taking his little power trip and being like, I'm going to propose to Arya, and she's like, dude.
Oh man, my heart was break for poor
we hooked
Gendry.
up once. Back the
my heart was break for poor
if
Gendry,
I had
because
just killed some White Walkers and then got some lifestyles of the rich and famous stuff thrown on me, I'd be like, marry me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Gendry doesn't know who Arya is. And he wants her to be this girl that he remembers, and she's not that girl. And so it was not at all surprising how it went down, but I was watching, and it's like watching a car crash in slow motion. You're like, oh, Gendry, don't do it. You're going to do it. Oh, don't do this.
Do you think maybe for a moment she was like, yeah, but I got to do one thing first?
No, never crossed her mind. That's not what Arya wants. Not at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I like the Hound talking to Sansa. That was I loved seeing the two of them cross paths at this late point, and then they undercut the whole thing.
Yeah, it goes weird
because she talks about she's like I've seen things scarier than you, and it's this badass moment for her where she can stand up to this guy who used to scare the hell out of her, and then he says, "Well, I would have rescued you from all that," which is patriarchal bullshit. And then she responds back with, "Well, if it all hadn't happened to me, I would still be a little bird." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, are you saying you should be grateful for all the things that happened to you? That is messed up."
Yeah, I take
that was what you were saying.
That was messed up.
I take it two ways. I think that Game of Thrones has a problem with how it portrays women.
It really does.
It's always had this problem.
It really does.
It's rapey. It's a world of that, but there seems to be they've always been weird about how they depict things, how they explain why they depicted certain things, and almost how they kind of sensualize these aspects, in a way that it's just it's not okay. But then to kind of wave a hand of a Machiavellian and justifies the means of Sansa's path, with her saying it, felt destructive to a certain branch of the audience.
Yeah. I would have liked if she had said something back to him like you would have damaged me in different ways. I would have liked her to acknowledge that things would have been different, but the Hound couldn't rescue her, and she wasn't going to stay the person she was.
Right.
She didn't need the damage that was done to her to make her the person she is, though.
Well, I think there is a transformation, and I think the gripe here is how they portrayed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sansa season 1 with Sansa now is like a complete 180. And you can't say that. I know this. I'm not justifying his point, but yeah, I like her way more now. Like, she's the badass Sansa now. Before she was the bratty idiot Sansa.
Right.
I mean,
and,
everybody's still kind of an idiot.
And we, as outside people watching the fiction, should be like, oh yeah, that's interesting character development. But she, as the character, should not be like, I'm grateful for these things that happened to me.
Part of me, though, like I cringed at that.
Yeah,
I was like,
too.
oh, what are you actually trying to say there?
Yeah.
But part of me also wanted to recognize within the context of that conversation, she's talking with the Hound.
Yeah.
And the Hound is there trying to bait her in a way. He's trying to prod at her and point out the ugly horrors that have happened to her and that he could have rescued her. And it wasn't just a matter of her, like, you know, she needs to continue to project the strength that she is now.
Right.
And I think her being able to kind of stand up to and be like, yeah, well, I am the way I am now because of those things. So
Yeah. She wasn't talking to the audience, she was talking to the Hound. That makes sense.
You know what she should have said? I hate to go back and write a better episode, but no, he should have said, you've had a lot of bad stuff happen. I could have protected you. And she should have just looked at him cold-blooded and gone, like you protected Arya?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like that would have been true to who the character is now. We would have, seen. Obviously, Sansa season 1 wouldn't have said that, and it totally sums up kind of what you guys are feeling like they undercut with the way they handled that.
Her just going, bitch, you afraid of fire?
Yeah.
Do you guys think Arya? Do you think the Hound is still on Arya's list?
Yes.
You think she's still going to kill him? You think she's going to let him kill the Mountain and then she's going to kill him and you take his face?
I don't know. It's kind of tricky because I think in a way she's warmed up. She's accepted that he's turned and tried to help her.
But he still killed her friend.
It will be a true mark of how true she is to her list versus if she can grow beyond it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They could do the Hound, like Clegane Bowl starts, and then Arya jumps in, kills the Mountain, and then the Hound, in a rage that he can't kill his brother, goes after Arya, and then she has to kill him.
Maybe. I have this feeling like maybe the Mountain will kill him.
So I didn't get to be on last week's episode with you guys where you're talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we talked all the time about what Grant would have said if he was here.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny if we were like, we didn't post the Game of Thrones last week because we couldn't see it on our TVs. Yeah, that was a dark episode last week.
But Bran continues to be a weirdo.
Bran, okay. I want to talk about Bran and Ghost in the same breath because I feel like both of them, we had all this buildup, and neither of them ever did anything. Like, Ghost protected Bran early on, and that was the last time either of them did anything, right?
I'm waiting for Ghost to just be a guy in a green suit with a sign that says Ghost around his neck. Like, we can't afford the CGI for him because we're spending it all on dragons.
Like it's Sean Gunn from Rocket.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're just like, I don't know, they're just wasting the Ghost character.
Yeah.
Also, Bran, why give him all these magic warg powers and then all he does last episode is like, I'm going to be some birds and I'm going to fly around a little
Is there
bit.
something to those birds that we don't know?
It's so annoying.
Well, here's the thing. So that Bran scene where him and Tyrion are talking in the Great Feast or whatever, felt so out of place when I was watching the episode. Like, I don't know, he's always going to tell us some more exposition, but not really.
Yeah.
You know, like, none of this really makes sense. Then, after the episode they post the title, The Last of the Starks.
Yeah.
Which Bran is kind of like the last of the Starks.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, it's Sansa.
Sansa's last of the Starks.
Bran isn't a Stark.
Arya's not a Stark.
Arya's gone.
John's not a Stark.
Yeah, it's all about Sansa, and she's the only one who knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
Because, man, I was like, the best thing you could have heard is that Jon Snow is not your legitimate brother. It explains why he's so dumb.
Yeah, you guys, they should have been so relieved.
He's actually a blonde.
You know what's weird?
You're as dumb as Ned Stark. So I don't know.
We just thought you were like Dad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just as dumb.
You're not. Be like Mom.
Yeah.
She was smart.
Yeah. The whole thing with Jon Snow, this entire episode is really frustrating because he's like, he goes through and he's like, Daenerys begs him to not tell them, and she knows exactly what's going to happen, and she's like, look, if you don't want this, you need to not tell anybody because it doesn't matter what you want. And he's seen this happen. He's been promoted above his stupidity 3 times.
How did he not learn anything from his time at the Wall,
Because
where
he
the
knows
office
nothing.
politics got him killed.
Literally killed. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was
hate him so
wondering.
much.
Is it
I hate him.
because he spent most of this series up there on the Wall and north of the Wall
Yeah.
that he doesn't understand how like things work down south? Or because there was a great line where Sansa was like, "Our men don't do good down south."
Yeah.
And I
But-
found that kind of interesting. Maybe a little
But
foreshadowing.
he's not south. He's still in the north, and he's dumb.
Yeah, it's like what's her name said, "You know nothing, Jon Snow."
That was the best encapsulation of his character.
and it's he learns nothing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that it has some kind of a bigger meaning, and he's not just an idiot the whole time.
I think he might just be an idiot. I really don't know what's going to happen with Jon Snow, and I don't see any happy ending if he doesn't die.
We got another.
I mean, we're going to come back. We'll cycle back to Jon Snow in a minute.
Yeah.
So we got another one of those like everybody around the table planning a battle. Well, minus like 4 or 5 characters, but
Yeah.
and then that's kind of how they're like, oh yeah, you know how you saw those Dothraki get taken out? Nope, just half of them. And then it's like, oh yeah, we had half too.
But
But we skipped over the whole Brienne and Jamie thing, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we're
Brienne
jumping
and
around.
Brienne and Jamie hooked up.
Yeah,
They hooked up
Let's talk
after
about a little bit of that.
Tyrion got them into a drinking game,
Yeah.
and then kind of emotionally manipulated and bullied her,
Yeah.
until she has to run away, and then while she's drunk, Jamie there's a lot of things in this episode with how.
Here's the thing. I want to see the Todd
Things I'm
Phillips
just problems.
Game of Thrones side cut of this, where it's just Tyrion. He comes up with that joke that he plants on Jamie after he has sex with Brienne, and he's like, "I can only tell this joke if I hook him up." Doom 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 doom, and then it goes into his whole plan to get them together.
Well, the thing is, I did think it was weird that they decided to do this while they're both drunk, but not surprising. Jamie's not that honorable for a night, but Brienne this is what Brienne has wanted. I think we were all pulling for Brienne and Tormund.
Yeah.
But Brienne has been clear from the outset that that's not what she wants.
True.
She wanted Jamie, and she's wanted Jamie for a while. So I didn't feel like he was.
This was
taking
how they
advantage.
were
This
able
was-
to kind of work within that narrative for her to have the confidence to do it. Okay.
Exactly. I don't think he took advantage. I think it was very much a this was what she wanted, and she couldn't do it unless she had sort of liquid courage and had been sort of pushed into a place where she had to do it.
Well, and I think she very much wanted this.
I agree.
If anything, when I saw this scene, I was like, she getting it, you know?
Yeah.
It didn't really seem like it was Jamie oh, I'm going to go take advantage of this situation.
Right. The thing that frustrates me is that Jamie is Jamie. He's just like Jon Snow. Everybody's being true to their characters, but Jamie's being true to his character in that he's, as he mentions, he has sort of an addiction to Cersei, and we thought he had finally cut that off, and it turns out he didn't. Now, maybe he did, and he may be doing the suicide run thing. He may be telling her one thing to break her heart. He may be telling Brienne now, I'm going for my sister, because that's an easier thing to say than I'm going to go kill myself for the Seven Kingdoms.
You know, that would complete the Kingslayer arc.
I think he might be going to kill Cersei and not.
Yeah.
I would assume he's off to go kill her.
I'm not sure we can assume that.
I don't know.
Or that he would get a chance to get close enough to do it, considering she sent Bronn to kill him.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Bronn is the master negotiator. Bronn should negotiate everything from now on. Because what's he do? He shows up with a crossbow and he's like, "Look, I'll kill you both. Give me a better offer."
Yeah, and Jamie being an idiot, I'm like, Tyrion's like, yeah, sure, yeah, Highgarden,
give me Highgarden.
Done deal, right? And then Jamie's like, no, I'm gonna be a stubborn asshole while you have a crossbow to my neck. I'm like, no, he will kill you, dude.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about you. He kind of likes Tyrion.
Yeah.
He dealt with you and trained you with a sword, and you guys have done battle together. But he doesn't really seem to like Jamie.
And Tyrion likes him.
Yeah.
Like Tyrion, I'm sure Tyrion's like, yeah, I would absolutely rather have Bronn in charge of Highgarden than any of these guys.
Right. So it wouldn't actually be a terrible thing as long as he can make it happen. And Tyrion should be
can
able to make it happen. Although here's the other thing that they were doing. Like during that, if we can jump back to that great feast.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I keep jumping ahead. I'm too excited.
It's fine. But there's that scene where we have Tormund hyping up Jon around all the other bros, and they're all like, yeah, you're great, you rode a dragon and did absolutely nothing out of that battle, but we want to still give you props. You didn't even kill that other dragon. You really did fucking nothing during that battle, but we are all going to pat you on the back for your mediocrity. Sure. And then Daenerys is looking over there like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that was my dragon.
Yeah.
And he just got it beat up a bit. And
Yeah.
like, what's going on here with
Yeah.
this? And then you look over and she looks and sees like, oh, the person that should be hyping me up, my hand, is over there yucking it up with his brother.
His brother, yeah.
And now, like, once again, it seems like Tyrion is dropping the ball on him being the hand of the queen because he's also a raging alcoholic.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think everybody has flaws. And this is why I think that the stuff that's frustrating might just be what's built into the show. Like, Daenerys has always felt like an outsider, and she's always felt like she's having to earn everything. And so she's looking and she's the outsider still, but she kind of makes herself the outsider.
Right.
And Tyrion is at heart, Tyrion just wants to drink and fuck. That's all Tyrion wants.
Well, drink nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. But like the notion of him being the hand, like, yeah, he doesn't really want any of this. He's just good at it.
Well, yeah, it's just it kind of marks this frustration. Like he still acts to a degree like he has this power, but he's not doing a good job of holding on to it. I mean, Varys is the one who's all like, I see her emotion and how she's feeling.
Yeah.
And man, I'm gonna bitch about Varys in a minute. But
Oh man, I loved everything with Tyrion and Varys in this episode because it's basically these two guys who have been the Greek chorus for the whole time and been the power behind the throne. They're deciding what to do. They have two terrible options, which are Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen.
you think Daenerys is okay?
They have two options. Daenerys is a terrible option.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely. She is okay. If nothing else, her family has a pretty strong tendency toward madness.
So this is interesting. So I guess you find because obviously Jon is the better leader. So the practical solution would be to have him win at the end. But we all know that like that can't happen as long as Daenerys is still alive.
Wait,
so
Neither of them are better leaders. They're both terrible leaders.
Jon Snow should never be a leader of anything.
No, Tormund.
He is an
Tormund
idiot.
or Podrick should be in charge, or Arya should be in charge.
Cersei should be in charge, man.
Cersei's terrible.
Cersei actually is getting stuff done.
Yeah,
she actually
terrible
understands
things.
strategy.
She's getting bad things
She built
done.
crossbows.
I'm starting to root for her
No,
at this point. I'm like,
no.
you're like the only person who actually is like accomplishing.
No.
She brought
being-
shoulder pads back from the 80s.
Being good at being evil is not good.
Man,
Cersei knows how to work the levers of power, but her goals for that power are evil.
Look, make Westeros great again.
That's what I'm saying. I would rather have someone who is clumsy and good intent than someone who is evil and good at working power.
But that's what they're trying to advocate that Jon Snow can be. But man, I mean, he makes every awful decision. Like he's Ned Stark tenfold.
He is absolutely.
Daenerys so far has been doing everything correct, and then in one episode they want to like show that she's a little impulsive, and suddenly she's a terrible leader. Like I'm like, what happened to these 7 other seasons of us watching as she like cultivates all the like a following of people that will die for her because she is proving that she can be a better leader than anyone else.
Right.
And like it just felt so unnecessary for them to suddenly like just because Varys is whispering to Tyrion she's gone power hungry doesn't mean that that's necessarily true. She did have a mission to try and reclaim her throne, which should have been her birthright or whatever. And I don't necessarily think that her being a woman with ambition is all that evil.
No, but here's the thing. Is it her birthright? It is technically her birthright, but Robert Baratheon might have been the usurper. He might have taken the throne, but he took it for the good of Westeros. Like, her father was a monster. He was going to kill everyone.
Right,
So-
but she's a dragon talker. She's like more powerful than most people.
Yeah, but why would you want the person if okay, let me bring this as if we depose Trump, say, would you then be like, when Eric Trump comes back and is like, well, I technically have the claim on the throne, would you want that? No.
Bad comparison.
She's
like
more
one of the
Elizabeth
blonde ones.
Warren.
Yeah, better comparison.
I'm just saying.
She's more Hillary Clinton.
Half of the country may be on board with that.
I'm just saying Daenerys has been good at what she's done in the South, but her flaw, her big character weakness is the same one that a lot of these people have, and it's a flaw that's built in the world, is that she believes that she is destined for this power. She believes that she deserves it, and she does
You're
not
such a
deserve
Bernie
it.
bro, Randy. You're such a Bernie bro. I don't even understand it.
I'm a Tormund bro.
Such a Tormund bro.
Actually, I'm an Arya bro. I really think of anyone in this show that I would want to see on the throne, it'd be Arya, and she doesn't want it.
I was getting ready to say, if she was on the throne, you guys would just be like, this ain't true to her character.
No, I'm Team Tyrion. I think that he actually should be on the throne, and I think once it's revealed that he's a Targaryen as well,
think that's the big
I
reveal?
think the other two will kill themselves, and he'll be like, I can also talk to this dragon, guys. I'm on the throne.
Even with how dumb Tyrion's been these last few episodes, you still want him?
Here, okay, let's jump to that. Let's talk about that scene with him and Varys.
Yeah.
Because I'm Team Tyrion, and I want to believe that he recognizes what's going on with Varys. Varys has always been a person of the realm, and his loyalties can be so wishy-washy depending upon how he feels in the moment that like things are turning with someone. He seems to drop kings and queens and his loyalty to them easily.
Yeah.
And like that's not a pledge of loyalty to help and support someone. That's, like Tyrion says, that's treason.
Yeah.
Have I thought of it? Sure. But what you're saying is treason.
Yeah.
But he also recognizes I talked to this guy, and this is just our whole dynamic.
Yeah.
We like to whisper to each other. I want to hope that he's playing Varys. He recognizes that Varys is a problem. He's going to make sure Varys is gone and kill him.
Maybe.
Because Tyrion, I hope, now recognizes if you backed Daenerys, you should continue backing Daenerys.
I don't know. Varys has a point, though. He's talking about being protective of the realm, protective of the people, because Tyrion has always lived among the rich. He's lived among the kings and the queens and the nobles, and those people, they view everyone as pawns.
But Daenerys is Cersei is going to kill those people the other way.
But Varys is trying to look out for what does the least harm to the masses, and not what is the best for these royals, which royal person winds up in charge. And I respect that.
Well, I think up till now, Daenerys has pretty much had one objective: break chains, free people, be like this great person.
Yeah.
And coming to the north, she has to do things she's never had to do before to get these people to love her, and it's just not working.
It's more complicated.
Yeah. It's like the first time in her journey where we've seen like the only thing that's going to get her where she wants to be is a strong alliance, and that may mean that second option where the two of them rule together.
Yeah. Which she will never go for, and that's one of her big flaws. She doesn't want to share the throne.
So, you were talking about who you want to see on the throne later. I think it should either be Cersei's baby, or, assuming that Dany's pregnant, Dany and Jon's baby. I think that whoever is willing to sacrifice enough to where their kid becomes the heir to the throne, I think deserves to be on the throne.
You think it should be their incest baby? The 3-armed Raven? I don't know about this.
I don't know. I'm kind of on
so
board.
you're basically, you want to know which incest baby is going to rule.
Yeah.
That's your goal.
I mean, not all her kids were bad.
Both kids that you're talking about are incest babies.
I was saying not all Cersei's kids. She had 1 out of the 3 that were bad.
Yeah, but the baby she's currently brewing is an incest baby.
Yeah.
They were all incest babies.
They're all incest babies in this world.
Yeah.
So Sansa, if we go talk about what she's doing, like she seems to interject in the battle planning stage. They're like, oh, half of our people are dead, and the other half that are alive all just went through a big traumatic battle.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cool our jets and rest and reinforce ourselves. And Daenerys is like, no, let's take care of this now. Like I came here just to help you guys so that you would help me.
Yeah.
And now a lot of my people are gone. Let's get the show on the road. And I think that, they both have a point.
They both have a point. Absolutely.
And it's it's not a good thing either way, but it's kind of, I don't know exactly whose side I land on. I want to land on Sansa's, I guess.
Some of my favorite things about this last season have been, I think, Sansa and Daenerys being at each other's throats in sort of a reasonable way is some of my favorite stuff, because both of them are right most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I like that basically because a lot of these conflicts, as you point out, they're just kind of dumb plot-driven conflicts. They're the characters acting in a way that sort of makes the most drama. But Daenerys and Sansa always have a point where they're coming from that's like, yeah, no, I can see where both of you are like, neither of you are being unreasonable here. You both have a reasonable point. It's just that you each have different priorities. And that's what it all should be.
I think that when they were talking during that battle planning, and Sansa says that, and then Jon Snow basically was like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
I'm going to speak on behalf of us Starks and say, nah, whatever you want, Daenerys. Then she was like, all right, fuck you, Jon Snow. So I like when they have that chat, and then he's like, hey, I'm going to tell you guys something. You got to swear because, we're family.
What's wrong with
by the
Jon
way,
Snow?
We're not family,
Yeah,
is what
we're
he's
not
saying.
family, yeah.
And then she goes, all right, so I am going to tell people that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the most destructive
Of
people.
course she was.
I wonder, so we know that she doesn't respect Daenerys. Do you think she respects Jon Snow? Or do you think she thinks, you're only the hero of the Battle of the Bastards because I rode in with the Knights of the Vale?
I think she respected him until she found out that he was not her brother.
I don't know. Like, she never liked him when they were growing up.
Yeah,
but I think there's that we're family thing.
Yeah.
And then him saying, like, we're not really family.
Yeah,
and
I think at this
also
point-
this power struggle when he's not doing stuff that she feels is currently in the best interest of her people.
Right.
I think she looks out for her people the best of any of them.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that she is loyal to the North.
Yeah.
And she is her father's daughter in a lot of ways. It's just that she's not as dumb as her father or her not brother.
Yes.
Yeah, she had to learn the hard way.
What's funny is she was. I hated Sansa in the first season. I hated how she got.
She is one of the best arcs.
And now you're right. She's one of the smartest.
I mean, it's a fucked up arc.
and her
It's a fucked up arc, yeah.
her costume this season though
Her
is
costume's
so
the best.
dope.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting for Sansa, but I don't know what I want to happen here. Like, I'm not sure. The funny thing is, like, I've never been as invested on who winds up on the Iron Throne.
Mm-hmm.
I was always invested in how they defeat the Night King, and so I am a little disappointed that basically that wrapped,
Yeah.
and that we're like spending so much time on who takes the Iron Throne, because a lot of what I cared about is over.
Yeah. Speaking of being over, they rushed to some quick goodbyes. We say goodbye to Tormund,
Yeah.
who's gonna go north of the Wall, and for some reason, Jon Snow is just like, "Oh, take Ghost with you."
No, that made sense to me. He's right. Ghost does not belong here.
Yeah,
He doesn't belong here, and if he takes him with him in battle, he gets killed. He's sending his friend off to live in a farm.
in the last episode, you see Jon Snow running to try and fight the Night King, and he sees all of his friends about to die, and he just like kind of goes, "Sorry, not enough time to help you. Not enough time to help you. Not enough time to help you." And like he did that to Sam. I'm like, man, that's low, dude.
Yeah.
I get it, but that's low.
Yeah.
And then this week, he has plenty of time to say goodbye to Ghost, and he's just like, there's that dog. Bye.
Somebody on the internet did point out that they have a low-level telepathic connection with their direwolf companion, so they were saying goodbye in their heads.
Oh my gosh.
So
Where's Nymeria?
my larger issue is Ghost didn't do crap. You brought him back. He had no cool moments in the battle.
You just see him, he's scarred up.
He's
now.
scarred. Like, what a waste.
Yeah, that was a huge waste. Wolf tease.
It's frustrating. And then we see Sam and Gilly, and the awkward part where Sam's explaining like how sex works.
Yeah,
Kind of funny.
that was funny.
But yeah, I mean, it was just like, okay, I guess we're saying goodbye to these characters because we're not going to see them, but they live on in the world.
And she's like, if he's a boy, we want to name him John because we think he'll be stupid.
I like that. He was like, oh, I hope you have
it's
a girl.
John's aware. John knows he's a mediocre white man. John absolutely knows what he is.
Oh, man.
That's why he doesn't want the throne. Give him credit for that. John is aware that everybody else is telling him how great he is. He's like, guys, I'm really not good at this. Stop promoting
He
me.
is not. I
He
don't
is
know.
Too. Jon Snow knows that he is mediocre.
If he knew that, he would not have told his siblings about that other
he's-
lineage. There was no reason for him to see it.
I think that's his biggest flaw is he thinks that he learned that from Ned Stark. He thinks that honesty is the best policy, which we have learned in Westeros is absolutely not the truth.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any malice. I think it absolutely was. He wasn't trying to go around Daenerys. He really thought, I will tell my sisters the truth, and they will keep a secret because we are family. He's just dumb. That's all it is.
I think his character is just too aligned with that. I fought for my honor, and if I don't tell them the truth, then why did I just fight that battle?
Yeah.
What was it all for?
He's
even Even though if he doesn't realize that he's just totally fucking
He's
everything up.
trying to be true to himself, and he's not thinking of the what's for the best, what's the best common good. He is thinking, how do I stay true to myself? And there's something admirable in that. It's just that being true to himself fucks everybody.
So let's head down south. Let's talk about the wonderful strategy of, hey, yeah, like you said, they have bows and arrows, and we have a dragon. What's the point of a dragon if not going ahead and scoping out the scene to make sure everything's safe for everyone else? But instead, let's just have the dragons fly side by side with the boats and at a low altitude, so they're kind of close to ranged missiles, cannons, and apparently some gigantic harpoons.
I don't think this is. I don't think this is there's a tactical error on their part. I think that they're overconfident in the dragon's power. They feel like the dragons are powerful, and they don't think they're. I mean, who would have thought that Euron Greyjoy put a bunch of giant octopus crossbows on his ships? There is no reason to assume they could do that.
Well, it is definitely a great example of while we've been fighting ice zombies, they've been down there building crossbows.
Yeah.
It seems consistent that she or their whole team doesn't seem to operate with a proper degree of strategy of how their ships are aligned, of how close she flies two dragons next to each other. They don't stagger in pattern.
Let me ask you this. Were you surprised when the dragon took the hits? Were you surprised? Did you see that coming?
No.
Why would they?
Yeah.
Because she already lost one.
But we had all seen that too. We had all seen the White Walkers take down a dragon. But there was no reason to expect that they were armed like that. There was no reason to expect that was going to happen. And so we were as surprised as they were, like, whoa, they've got these weapons that can kill a dragon, and they were ready for us.
Are there any more dragons in the world, or was this one somehow impregnated before?
No,
well, the dragons can change sex, so I don't know if we could have like an production thing.
Asexual reproduction?
Yeah. But because they were both boys, but in the lore.
But they had to, I mean, she knows she needs, the dragons are her biggest weapons. She thinks they're mostly invulnerable. They've only been killed by the Night King's magic. Like, why on earth would she think that suddenly Cersei had come up with this dragon killing technology?
Because she saw it.
But it didn't work.
And
they destroyed it.
They had assumed the Golden Company was down in King's Landing, and they were at the castle.
Yeah.
Castle, the Dragonstone.
Dragonstone, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were. So that was kind of like it was a surprise.
I think
attack.
Instead of us talking about how Dany was an idiot or something like that, I think in this particular case, we have to talk about Cersei is smarter than she is, and we have to talk about Euron Greyjoy is smarter than we give him credit for.
Fair.
I think I understand the frustration because you're like, and I had numerous people say like, well, now that she sees the ships, why didn't you take the dragons around behind? They can't turn the ships that fast. Like, go way out and burn the whole ships from the ground from behind. And that's a reasonable point, but I also think at that point, Daenerys has lost one of her children. She is in a rage. She's not thinking. By the time she thinks of it, those ships have probably turned. And she's like, I can't risk going back because what if they kill my last dragon?
Yeah.
So I think it's all reasonable. I understand the frustration with it, but I think in this particular case, it is, again, it's being true to the characters.
Sure, but...
Yeah.
Surely, then, she's going to be super protective of her last dragon, right? She wouldn't, I don't know, go to do a parlay right at the front gates of the castle and have that dragon just a couple 100 feet behind her just chilling there while their harpoon things are like all lining the top of the castle?
I like that because it's out of range, but she's still saying, hey, by the way, I still got a dragon.
No!
Yeah.
And she's within range of those things, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a hand of the king... the queen, then don't you also go stand there? Come on.
Yeah, but she had to see Missandei die. She had to be there for that. That's dramatic.
Stand further back on a mountain or something.
I was also like, if this is how they kill Tyrion, this would be a
I thought they were
baller death.
I thought they were going to kill him. I really thought she was.
I thought Miss Sandy would fall on him.
No, Miss Sandy.
Monty Python style.
Back to Euron. I think it'd be really funny if like this ends with Bronn killing Euron, so Bronn can go around and tell ladies, "I'm the only living man who's killed a dragon or who's shot a dragon." Because he had that little boast, and now it's like, nope, Euron took one down.
You know what's interesting? Euron Greyjoy Is anyone in the Seven Kingdoms having more fun with his life than Euron Greyjoy? That dude, I mean, he's a sociopathic monster, but that dude is living his best life.
Oh, he is.
For real.
He is so happy.
He is all dude bros. He just drips douchebaggery.
Yes, he is living his best life.
He's like the roommate that busts in at 3 a.m. and is like, "I'd look cool with a hook hand, right?
Yeah,
Here's a machete.
that's
Let's do
guy,
this.
yeah,
Hook hand time."
Yeah, he is that guy. Yeah, yeah. He's Bradley Cooper in the Hangover movies.
Yeah. So, okay, they have Tyrion go negotiate, and I thought that was actually a great scene.
I liked that too
because I like how he's kind of talking to what's
the Meister.
whatever his name is, creepy dude.
Clayburn.
Clyburn,
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, screw you. You obviously are just going to regurgitate lines that you've been fed. I'm going to go talk directly to her. And that's Tyrion putting his life yet again on the line, going that close, not following the rules.
And knowing his sister.
Yeah, it's like she could kill him, but I thought that was a pretty baller move to signal to Daenerys, like, I am putting my life on the line for us. I believe in this, and I will even go advocate for you over here.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to read it that way, or she's going to go, what'd you say? Because Miss Sandy said, not cool, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think there's also this thing of like, they keep talking about what queen do you serve? You know, like Clyburn says something like, "No, she is the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms," and it's like, "No, man, you don't understand what's about to come." Like that's, and I almost felt like him walking up was kind of like an F you to Cersei. Like, you don't really think you're going to get to stay in there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like I know, you got your arrows pointed at me, but this is kill me now. But this is not going to end with you or that baby living through this.
So here's the question: why are they so confident? Because they have one dragon left, and it seems like that Cersei's people have the weapons to kill the dragon now. And I'm like, they have less forces.
You know what's going to happen, right? Like, did you see
No.
the?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
what do you think's going to happen?
Well, let's get that in one second.
Okay.
Let's talk about Miss Sandy says Darkiris.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty great.
I thought it was
line.
a great ending. Yeah.
They did take the one black character, female character in all of Westeros and kill her.
I hate,
but it was a good Game of Thrones ending to a character.
I
So I'm like,
hate that they killed Missandei. I hate it.
You know, I think from like the standpoint of the actors, making it to the last season and then getting killed off, getting to do all the press, that's a win.
Yeah,
she's pretty powerful. She got a cool Game of Thrones death.
Yeah, it's a good finale for her, but I hate that they killed her because she was one of the better. She was one of the characters who I believed was like actually a good person.
But to be fair,
that's what happens.
Last episode we thought she was a goner because like of the all like Grey Worm and her being like, we love each other. Everything's going to be great.
No,
I was like, y'all dead.
They actually fooled me. I actually thought Grey Worm was going to die in battle.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
having Missandei die instead. Yeah.
What I think is going to happen is Grey Worm is going to do something out of character because of this. Like he might go for Cersei when he should be like leading his troops or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the Last of the Mohicans song and him just like going crazy and like picking up guns left and right as he's running up the mountain. It's going to be awesome.
But I do think that moment sets up the big question for the next episode, which is, you know, do you figure out a way to get Cersei out without hurting anybody, or do you burn this mother down?
They burn this mother down.
Okay, so let's talk about that trailer. Yeah. And anyone who doesn't like this aspect, go ahead and you can cut us off. I think we're pretty much done with talking about this episode.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about the trailer.
I'm done shitting on.
Go wipe yourself up.
Ew. So in that trailer, there is a scene where they're looking up at the sky, and there's the menace of a noise. And so I think, we assume it's going to be the dragon, right?
Yeah.
It is, but that dragon is going to be wearing armor because I don't know how they didn't think to put armor on that thing yet.
Yeah.
But now they're going to have an armored dragon, so they're going to be like, oh, let's shoot it. And like, oh, that doesn't work.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Right?
Well, and, I think that it's not beyond the realm of possibility that with Tyrion involved, there would be something poetic calling back to the Battle of Blackwater if not only do they attack with the dragon, but they have got their own little stockpile of wildfire, and it really is like fire is their weapon in this. Well, no, but like fire is what they use to take them down.
But that's what the Mad King was going to use to burn the king.
Oh yeah, I would imagine Cersei uses wildfire fire more than
I wonder
Daenerys.
if Cersei. I mean, knowing Cersei as she does, if Cersei looses wildfire in the city and on her people, and then blames Daenerys for it, she gets all the effects. She's like, I didn't do. She's like, she's this mad woman.
That's her dragons.
Yeah, that's her dragons.
That made green fire.
Real quick, who gets to kill Euron now that Theon's out of the equation?
Is Yara going to show back up?
She's on that Gentleman Jack show. I wonder if she's.
I think it's possible that she. I mean, that was already filmed though.
Oh yeah.
I think I could totally see Yara and some of her troops showing up and being the one to kill Euron.
Next week we're getting Clegane Bowl finally.
Yeah.
You guys are excited?
My prediction is that the Mountain wins again. I think the Mountain's going to kill the Hound,
and then you think
and then Arya
Arya's
will kill the Mountain.
The Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the Mountain's on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got them both.
She's got them both.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. The Hound has to die because otherwise Arya doesn't complete her list. And I don't see any way Arya doesn't complete her list.
Wasn't there a moment when they were on their road trip together where she said something like, I'm taking you off my list? Or
I don't think so.
Yeah.
By the way, also, Ilan Payne is still alive, right? The guy who beheaded her father? Isn't he still alive?
Is that that's not the one that she stabbed to death?
No, that was somebody else.
Oh.
I think we may see her go after him.
I think he was the Kingsguard guy.
And I do think for sure Arya is going to be the one to kill Cersei. I don't think Jaime's going to do it. I think Arya kills Cersei.
I mean, she's going to go on a killing spree. I just wonder who she's going to look like.
I know, and I think she'll change identities a couple times. But we'll see.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any good face shift in action.
It's going to be Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 1 through 4. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's all these different face masks.
Real quick, when she left Bravos, did she do something where she like took one face with her? Like, does she have to be in Bravos to have the different? Because she's only used the face the one time where she killed Felch from Harry Potter.
Isn't it a matter of like she can make faces? Like,
yeah, I thought it was she could make faces.
Okay.
She
I just
like
needed
brought a bunch of face putty and
she's got
Play-Doh
that Mission Impossible briefcase.
Yeah, she's got the Mission Impossible briefcase. She's got
Simon Pegg going, wait, no faces?
All right, man. We got
two. So let me ask you this. It's an important question.
Okay.
For all that you've been way down on it, I've been a little down on it, you're still super excited for seeing what happens next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm still thrown in.
I'm addicted, of course. I want to see what they do with it. I am a little underwhelmed with what I think they could have done with it versus how they seem to be wanting to approach it.
Grant, you understand this how people feel about Lost, right?
All right, see what out. The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TVDudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.